Hey y'all, welcome back to episode 2 of Quit Bustin' My Ball. I am your host, Ryan, and I am a testicular cancer survivor. Woo. Hence the name, Quit Bustin' My Ball. And today I've got a special guest, my good buddy.
Hey, I am Andy Henderson. Thanks so much for having me here. It's great.
Hey man, thanks for coming on.
No, it's perfect. I feel like the way that I'm sitting right now is I feel like I'm in therapy and you're my therapist.
Yeah.
Are you going to...
I'll diagnose all your mental illness.
Please do. Somebody needs to at this point. But no, thanks for having me. This is awesome.
Yeah. And not to get off topic right away.
No.
But I love these shoes.
Thank you. I have a problem. If I see something online that I like, I will buy it immediately. I won't even give myself time to look at alternative options or think about the purchase. I'm just like, I need it now.
Yeah, that makes sense. I do that too.
It's just bad. And I'm not good at like returning things, so I just keep it even if I'm not super happy with it. But thank you. I do like these shoes too.
I'm also so bad about like justifying things.
Oh, you could justify anything.
Yeah. Well, especially now that I beat cancer, you know, I'll see like I got these like Post Malone collabed Uggs.
That's cool.
And they were a pretty penny.
But you're like, I beat cancer, so like I deserve it? Or
yeah,
like,
no, exactly. I was like, you know what? I beat cancer, so why not?
Okay. That is a decent use of that excuse though.
I know.
Like getting new shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
I do also use it for bigger purchases as well.
What's like the biggest thing that you've used as a justification? Like you've used cancer as a justification for?
Well, not to bring up Post Malone again, but yeah, I've been trying to see Post Malone for years, and I was gonna go see him at Gov Ball last year because that's in Queens. It's like right next door,
right? And
I got cancer, and I couldn't go. And Gov Ball did not refund my ticket. I was like, hey, I literally got diagnosed with cancer. Can you do anything? They
you told them I
emailed them. Yeah. Because the ticket was like $300.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, I got cancer. Is there any way you can refund this? They were like, that sucks.
I mean,
no.
Listen, I work in customer experience. If like that should be considered like an excused reason.
Yeah. Like I'll give you a doctor's note.
Yeah, I'll give you more. I'm in chemo.
I'm in chemo. I'll send you the tumor. Like, just give me my $300.
Do you think I have no eyebrows for no reason right now? Like, I'll prove it.
Don't get me started on the eyebrows. I didn't lose my eyebrows until the last round of chemotherapy.
Really?
Yeah. So I lost all my hair, like head hair.
Yeah.
Like by the second round, it was all falling out.
Yeah.
But I kept some. Not rimblings. What's the word I'm looking for?
Like remnants?
Remnants. That's Okay. I kept some remnants of my mustache.
Okay, fair.
And by that, I mean like 4 strands. But I was like, I'm not shaving this.
Yeah.
And then I had my eyebrows until the last round. I lost them after the last round.
Okay.
And then I moved back here.
Yeah.
And I had no eyebrows. And I was like, hey guys. And I guess I didn't think about it because I was watching some self-tapes I did.
Yeah.
Back in the day, I was like, dang, I really walked around with no eyebrows. That's kind of crazy.
What else are you going to do?
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
you
true.
lost it. Well, okay, here's an odd question for you, if you don't mind me asking. Did you lose your eyelashes as well?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I feel like I would have noticed more if I lost my eyelashes.
I feel like that's something that, I mean, obviously hair too, but like you need your eyelashes quite a bit more than like a mustache or head hair.
I don't know.
You're like, I don't know. I think I need my mustache more.
Yeah. Yeah. So let me have a stroke.
No, not this too.
Yeah, not
You've been through enough.
I've been through enough. So yeah, I lost my eyelashes. What were we talking about? Oh yeah, Post Malone.
Yeah.
So I been trying to see Post Malone for years, and I even like he just went on tour.
Yeah.
Like when I finished he was gonna be in Arkansas too the week I finished chemotherapy.
Oh wow, okay, yeah.
And so I was like, oh, I'm going to this tour. Didn't get tickets. And I was like, it's okay, whatever. So I come back to New York, and then he announces his second tour, and he's going to be in Citi Field in Queens in June.
Of this year?
Yes. So this upcoming June.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, well, I'm going to buy this. I'm going to get tickets.
Yeah.
So there was these really not good tickets, and they were still expensive.
Sure.
And I was like, what the heck? And then there was this, like, second row next to the stage, VIP ticket, with like exclusive merch and all this crazy stuff, and it was like $200 more than the bad seats.
And you're like, well, if I'm already spending this,
exactly. So I did. So I did.
Right.
And it was, I do, not that I regret it, I'll love myself the day of.
Yeah.
My bank account doesn't love me right now because of it.
Of course. Listen, it's a spender's world out there.
And
I get it.
I'm a consumer.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I am a consumer.
Definitely. Are you gonna like make a sign that's like passive aggressive towards him, like you didn't?
Hey man, where's my Make-A-Wish?
Where's my Make-A-Wish?
Yeah. I saw when he went on his last tour, he posted a picture with like a little kid who had cancer.
Okay.
And he like made a sign, and I was like, that should be me.
You could do it.
That's stupid. No, I'm not gonna do it.
Bring a sign.
Me, a 26-year-old man. Post Malone, I love you. I do use the cancer cards to get like a lot of clout, though, as much clout as I can.
Yeah, I mean, why not?
Yeah.
Listen, you beat it. That's
true.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
You should use that for clout in every aspect of your life.
I do.
And to get free things.
Yes.
You're just like at like Five Guys, and you're like, hey,
I just beat cancer.
I just beat cancer.
We went. My cousin had a wedding in October, and this was also like a month after I finished chemo.
Yeah.
And we went out to this bar after, and I'm just so bad about not bringing, especially up here. I haven't shown my ID once.
Oh yeah,
since I've been up
nobody
here.
asks in New York.
No. So we went out to this bar in Arkansas. And they were like, you need your ID to get in.
Yeah.
Like, not even order a drink, like to get in the bar.
Fair, yeah.
And I was like,
Arkansas
brother.
is definitely like that.
I was like, I've got like a PDF of it on my phone. I just don't have like the physical copy. And he's like, I'm sorry, man, I can't do it. And I was like, what if I told you I just beat cancer like 2 weeks ago? Are you still going to say no? He was like, congrats. Yeah, you can't go in.
Oh, no. He didn't even, okay, so he didn't even bite on the cancer thing.
No,
man.
So that's okay. I told it was at that point it was my cousins and like his buddies and like some of the younger people in the wedding party.
Yeah.
So I was like, y'all go back in. I'll just Uber back to the hotel. And so I Ubered back, and like the rest of my family, like my grandparents and my parents and my uncle, were all hanging out there. So
but that's also like really sad. You're like just beat cancer and you're like in an Uber by yourself, like because you couldn't get let into a bar. I can just imagine it's raining and you're like staring out the window.
And I could have gone my wallet and gone back, but at that point,
at that point
I'm just going to bed.
You just got to prove a point to the bouncer too.
Yeah,
just be like, I don't need this. I get into the exclusive bars up in New York City that for only cancer survivors.
Yeah,
and they don't ID me.
Yeah, I get into Margaritaville and Times Square.
Okay, I do have a story about Margaritaville.
Okay,
I've been one time in my entire life, and I don't know, for anyone who's never been to Margaritaville in Times Square, it's an experience.
You're missing out.
I'll tell you that much. But the one time I went, I don't remember why I went, but you go up these escalators for this one way to get up to like one of the bar areas. You go up the escalators, and like midway up one of the escalators, I start to smell vomit. And I'm like, that's probably not a good thing to be smelling right as you're like getting into this restaurant. And by the time you get to the top of the escalator, it's just in the air, lingering everywhere. Someone had thrown up at the bar, all over the floor, in between all these families sitting at these tables in the bar. Like somebody went too hard at the Jimmy Buffett Margaritaville bar.
It was me.
It was you. You're like, I've got a confession. That was me.
I'm just kidding.
And so went up the escalator, saw them cleaning up the vomit, turned around and went right back down the escalator. I have never officially eaten.
You've never gone there? Never. Well, I've never gone inside. The only time I'll go, because the rooftop is like open access.
Okay. Yeah.
So I've gone like twice. I'll go to the rooftop. The Margaritaville. If I'm just like, if my friend's like, they want to go to the rooftop, and I was like, well, we can't get in anywhere else, so we're gonna go to Margaritaville.
Yeah, y'all ever heard of a little place called Margaritaville? Y'all know Jimmy Buffett? Rest in peace.
My good pal Jimmy.
Oh, that's great,
man. But yeah, no, I love shoes. I just bought these, like, not those silver shoes.
I was gonna say those are amazing.
Well, so I bought those. They're like these chrome, silver, like chunky sneakers, and I bought them for New Year's Eve, and my birthday, and just like if I ever, they're fine going out shoes.
Sure.
But I ordered them in size 13, and they're just like they're 12 and a halves. They're not 13s. They're 12 and a halves.
Okay, this is what we were just talking about with returning things, right?
Well, okay, I was gonna return them, so I wore them. I put them on. I was like, these are too small. But I have neuropathy now, which means I can't feel my feet or the tip of my fingers, from the chemo. And so I was like, I can't feel my feet anyway. It'll be fine. And I went out with them in New Year's Eve, and I was like, no, I can't do this. And so I was like, I'm just gonna return them. I can't return them because I wore them.
Oh no!
Yeah, if I hadn't worn them out, I could have returned them.
This is like terrible. But could you like depop them, like just like resell them on some site?
Oh, they're on
somewhere?
Yeah, I put them on Facebook, like Marketplace.
Okay. Yeah. Man, that is a shame. Just because you wore them one time.
Yeah.
Out in New Year's Eve in the mud and the snow.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're like, we know, we saw your shipping address.
We saw your shipping. So then I bought, you can't really see them. I bought those like Nike ones.
Yeah.
Here, I'll grab them.
Yeah, grab them. Grab them, please.
All right. So I bought these like 2 weeks ago.
Those are great.
I know. Aren't these just so freaking dope?
Those look so cool. Hang on. What are they like a specific Bowerman series? That's very fancy.
Yeah.
Well, they look really cool.
Yeah. I wear these all the time.
I love them. So those are like your replacement chrome shoes because you can't wear your other chrome shoes.
And I feel like I can wear these a lot more than I can wear those.
That's fair.
You know what I mean?
They fit with like more outfits.
Like I wear these to work a lot.
Yeah.
For like just when I
like a little more casual. Even though the other ones are really great, they look really cool. I'm very sorry that you can't wear them.
Yeah.
I mean, well, you can wear them. You just can't return them.
Yeah.
That's a shame.
But you live and you learn. And thankfully they were like $40, which is still a good chunk of money, but it's not like $200.
Yeah. Listen, I'm going to say something. I don't understand. As someone who is very understanding, I don't understand the sneakerhead vibe where people will buy like 150 pairs of shoes and like wear them like one time.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I get it. I understand like having like collector mentality and things like that. But it's like shoes are such a practical item for me.
Yeah.
That it feels weird to have a big collection of them and never use them.
Yeah. If I buy expensive pair of shoes, I'm like, I gotta wear these suckers.
Yeah.
And I do.
I gotta show it off.
Yeah.
I spent the money on it. You're gonna see me wearing it.
And like I don't really collect anything. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm looking around. I'm like, what? You collect coins?
I don't really. My change jar. Yeah. I don't think I really collect anything. I like the idea of collecting something.
Sure.
But it would be like, like match books or match boxes. You know what I'm talking about?
My mom used to collect match books. Yeah. Like anytime she would go out to like a bar or restaurant, because they used to have them everywhere, like because everybody used to smoke.
And I think you can still like ask for them.
Yeah.
But I would ask for I would collect something like that, but you can't really show. If you collect something, you can't really show it off. Sometimes you can put it up as decor.
Yeah.
But I just don't see how you would put like some like shoes, especially like size 13 shoes as decor.
Fair. Okay, that's a little different too. Yeah. If you're like a women's 6, like you could fit like 300 of those in your New York City apartment.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a little different. But speaking of matches, Do you remember smoking sections? Like in restaurants?
No.
Okay. I'm not that much older than you.
You're not.
But I vividly, just growing up in the late 90s, early 2000s, like even like places like IHOP would have smoking, non-smoking sections. So you'd walk in, they'd say, hey, smoking or non-smoking. And you'd...
Really?
I mean, I'm always, you're always with your family and you're a child. And so you'd be like non-smoking. But yeah, like IHOP in my city when I was growing up, like whenever we would go with family, there would be a whole section and it's like kind of closed off, but like the rest of the restaurant still smells like cigarettes. But this was back when you could smoke in any bar. Like anytime you went, obviously I was too young to go into bars, but you could smoke inside any bar. Like no one...
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and then they were like, hey, secondhand smoke is super bad.
I remember learning about those, like smoking, non-smoking.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever sat there. I don't know. My dad also was a smoker.
Yeah.
And then stopped when I was like really, really young.
Sure. Yeah.
And so maybe we didn't go out because he didn't want to be like tempted. But yeah, I don't remember that at all.
I think it'd be really funny to have like a vaping section now.
Yeah.
In a restaurant. Gosh. You go to IHOP and they're like vaping or non-vaping.
I couldn't go there. That'd be me. I'd be my dad. I'd be like, I'd be tempted.
It's just all these guys just like blowing huge clouds.
Yeah. So I vaped in college.
Yeah.
And I stopped. I'm coming up on 3 years without vaping.
Amazing.
Yeah, which is great.
Yeah.
But every time someone walks past me and I smell like, cucumber, bubblegum, blue raz, fog, I'm like, gosh, I wish I could hit that right now.
That's how they got you. I mean, I remember in college, like when Juul was like first a big thing, and it was like, oh, I've got the mango pods.
I miss the mango pod.
And then they were like, hey, this is really bad. Like there's 12-year-olds juuling everywhere.
I remember when I got my freshman year of OBU, my senior year of high school, my freshman year of OBU was when like Juuls really took off.
Yeah.
And I didn't use them. I didn't start vaping until I was like a sophomore in college.
Sure.
And even then I used the knockoff Juul.
Well, yeah.
Because it was a lot cheaper.
It's cheaper.
And then after that, they got rid of the flavor pods, so I had to switch to the disposables.
Yeah.
Because I just can't do menthol. Or like...
That's the point. They're like,
yeah,
we can't... Yeah.
But then I just switched to...
strawberry bubblegum flavor.
Oh, yeah. And one time, we were in college, and I saw this TikTok. This was my junior year. This was before, like right before COVID.
Yeah.
I saw this thing where if you take out the filter of your disposable vape, you get more hits out of it. And I was speeding, and I was like, all right, I'll give it a shot. So I do it, and then I go to rehearsal, and my throat like closes up.
Oh no.
And this was like literally like 2 weeks before COVID.
Yeah.
So like people knew about it. It hadn't hit the US yet, but like people knew about it. And I was calling my dad. I didn't tell him it was a vape. I was like, my throat's feeling weird. He was like, just go to the urgent care. Like there's crazy stuff going on right now.
Yeah.
So I went, and like they were like, yeah, you're just an idiot.
You were like, I've been vaping. I took out the filter of my knockoff disposable vape.
I also forgot. Okay, so we went to a school, and there was a lot of rules that we had to follow as students.
Lots.
For example, even if we were of age, even if we were 21, 22, we couldn't drink. Even if we were off campus, like at our houses, we weren't supposed to drink.
Correct. You have to sign a thing when you first show up to the university, saying like a pledge, like I will not do this.
And then same with like vaping and stuff like that, and smoking. Right. Even though I'm 22 years old, I couldn't vape.
Right.
So I didn't tell the doctor at first, and I was like, oh, I just know. And I was like, oh, wait. I'm 22. Yeah, I was hitting my vape.
You're like, oh, I'm an adult.
I was like, oh, I won't get in trouble.
That is one of the things that like you realize, like especially like once you like get out of college, if you have gone to a school that is very restrictive or has a lot of rules like that, you get into the real world and you're like, oh no, like this is fine.
Yeah. Well, I
can tell people this.
After graduating, I like got a beer somewhere, and I was like, oh god, I hope no one sees me. And I'm like, oh wait.
You're like, oh, I've been 21 for 3 years.
Yeah. That's stress. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of, looking back, I'm like, ugh. And yeah, I guess we signed up for that.
Sure.
By going there.
Yeah, but I also signed up kind of unknowingly, not unknowingly, not fully realizing the impact that student loans would have on me later in life. And I'm like 18 years old. Like, let me go to this university. And now I have, thousands of dollars of student debt. And I'm like, if my frontal lobe would have been developed, I would not have made this decision.
They really do make us make a lot of like life-altering decisions at 18 years old.
Yeah.
And 18 years old people are idiots.
I was the biggest of them all. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was so dumb when I was 18. Like, I couldn't have a conversation with my 18-year-old self right now without just getting unbelievably angry.
Yeah,
probably.
I would punch him in the face.
Me? My 18-year-old self?
Yeah, I'd punch your 18-year-old self in the face, and then I'd punch my 18-year-old self in the face.
That's actually very fair. I probably would do the same. I wouldn't punch your 18-year-old self.
Yeah. Yeah, he's about to get cancer in 5 years.
Oh.
Give him a break.
Yeah, with the knowledge that I have now. Yeah. But like, you're about to go through it. It's fine.
You're about to go through it. Man. That's so funny.
This is great. This is the best therapy session I've had in a while.
Yeah, great. Man. So you just moved your car from Texas to up here? Or did you buy a car or?
So I had a car when my wife and I first moved to New York in 2019. We had a car. We brought it up with us. And then we quickly realized that having a car in New York is terrible if you have to street park, because not only is it very hard to find street parking, you also have to like move it every day for street cleaning, or every 3 days or whatever it is. And so I'm sitting there and it's like 9:30 in the evening. I'm trying to find a parking space. I'm driving like up and down like 30 blocks. And I finally find a space like an hour and a half after I start looking for it. And this is like right after we move.
Yeah.
And I park there. I go back to my apartment. And then I don't have to move my car for 4 days because it's like whatever it is, like a Thursday. And then I don't have to move it until Tuesday or whatever it might be. So I get back to my car. I don't even go check on it. I get back to my car on the Tuesday when I need to move it, and I have 2 tickets because I parked like too close to a fire hydrant. It was like you have to be, I don't know what it is, like 15 feet away, and I was 10 feet away or something like that. And that's so it was like the Saturday I got a ticket, and then the Sunday I got another ticket for still being there. And so I almost like immediately I was like, Kenzie, we cannot have this car up here anymore. Well,
that's another thing. My friend who has a car is like, I don't even want it. He's like, because I don't even use it because I have such a good spot. Like when I get a spot, I don't want to lose it, so I don't use my car.
Yeah, exactly. And so I will say we're in Long Island City now, and it is so much better because where we live there is no street cleaning. So if I find a good spot, I will keep it, and I'll do the same thing. Like I won't want to move the car because there's such. Like I have such a good spot.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And so that is the danger though. But yeah, we just got it registered in New York. It had Texas plates, and so I had to go to the DMV and sit and like watch people like yelling at the workers.
That's
like there was this guy who was like, I just came all the way over here from Brooklyn and I just paid $1,600 for my car insurance, and now you're telling me that I have to wait a whole other month. And they were like, I don't know what to tell you, man. And he was like, this is insane. Like I'm gonna come back here and blah blah blah. And I was like, oh, I am just trying to pick up my license plates.
My license expired.
Like oh no,
a month ago.
You have a New York license or
No, I had an Arkansas license. Okay. But now I'm getting a New York license.
Yeah. Well, good luck.
I know. I'm like, well, I haven't done it yet because I'm like, I don't want to go to the DMV.
It's a terrible experience no matter where you are. I went to the DMV in Harlem when we were living there. I just went to the Midtown one. It's basically the same layout and the same angry people.
Yeah.
It's just mentally prepare yourself.
Have you ever seen, you watch Broad City?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Have you seen the episode with when Abby goes to the DMV?
I'm sure I have. I can't remember it right now.
It's so funny. But
fantastic.
That's what I imagine. I'm like, I don't want to go. I'm scared.
It is a scary place. I will say that. There are lots of angry people, and not just the people who are there to have things done. The people working there are equally as angry. They're like screaming at you, like, go up to this counter. And I'm like, it says it's waiting to call my number. Because that's what happened to me. I got there. They give you a number.
Yeah.
It says your name on it and like this number. They're like, it's going to call it out over the intercom when it's ready. It'll tell you what window to go to. And so this woman goes, what are you waiting for? And I'm like, my number to be called. And she's like, no, just go to number 4. And I'm like, okay. So I got up and I went to number 4. And he was like, what are you doing here? And I was like, she just told me. And he was like, you got to wait for your number. So I went back and sat down. And she's like, what are you doing sitting back down? I'm like, I'm trapped in this endless loop.
Yeah, I would leave. I'd be like, you know what? I don't want a license that bad. It's not worth it.
I'll just get arrested. It's fine.
I know. I haven't run into, because I have to use my ID for like auditions, like when I go into auditions.
That's right. Yeah,
I haven't run into problems yet.
I think technically they say it's okay if it's like 2 months expired or something like that, or whatever.
I've got to pull it together. I've got to get that shit.
But they also don't look at that. I mean, the buildings, they're like, it's fine. The buildings are fine.
I know, but I just know I'm going to get a final callback for something, and I'm going to go, and they're like, we can't let you in.
Do you have a passport?
Yeah, I just got a passport.
You could bring your passport.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's okay.
No. Actually, no, don't do that. You need to get a license. I'm just going to pretend. Just pretend you didn't hear that. You can't bring your passport.
Okay. I'll get a license.
I brought my passport to a bar before.
Really?
Yeah, because my driver's license had expired. And so I... like back
here?
Back in Kentucky. Kinsey was doing a contract in Kentucky, and they like ID you everywhere. And so I brought my passport. And they're like, "Why do you have this?"
That's funny. Oh my gosh. Well, how are the girls?
Listen, I have 2 small dogs. They're both under 20 pounds. One is like 8 pounds. They are like objectively adorable dogs, but objectively terrible dogs.
Yeah.
Like they're so bad. Like, you've watched them for us when we've gone on trips and stuff. They're doing really well. One of my dogs, Winnie, she just had hernia surgery not too long ago. We got pet insurance before we found out she had a hernia, which was really, really great, because they basically reimbursed almost everything. Like I just got the direct deposit the other day from like the hernia surgery. It was like $1,000. Yeah. Cool. And so, but she got this hernia surgery, big old hernia, like right on her belly, got the surgery. We came back home. She was like in the healing process for like a week and a half. And I started to realize, I was like, I think the hernia is still there. And so we went back to the vet. And they were like, yeah, it's, this is a hernia. And I'm like, that's the hernia. That's the hernia that you were supposed to remove.
Yeah. What did they remove?
They were like, well, we saw something else that we thought was another hernia. So we removed that one. Or they fixed that one. I think they like patch it up or something. And I was like, this is the big one. This is huge. This is the size of like a ping pong ball. And they were like, oh, well, we didn't see that one. And I'm like, that's the one we came in for. And so we really actually had to fight them to have them do the surgery again. And it was like another couple weeks of like healing. And they cut her open. They like cut her open, like big cut, and like stitched her up. And she was just in pain and taking all this medication. And so yeah, she had to get the same surgery twice because they missed it the first time.
That sucks.
But yeah. But they're doing okay. They're just still both very bad dogs.
Yeah. You think they like LIC more than Harlem?
Oh yeah, definitely. The one great thing about where we were living in Harlem, we were right by Morningside Park, and there's a dog park there. Yeah. And so, you could take them to the dog park, and they loved it. There were always tons of dogs there. And now in Long Island City, there is a dog park close to us, but it's mostly just like rocks, and it's just flat and kind of a square, and they don't love that as much. But in like the spring and summer, out by like Gantry Park, it's just beautiful, and it's great to walk them there and stuff like that. So yeah, they definitely love that.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So Andy is a Broadway photographer, and he's worked with so many, like David Hansen, Hamilton, really everything.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot. It's the way that it kind of has worked is I will either work for like press teams or social media companies, and so they're all managing multiple shows, and so it's kind of just like, hey, we have a shoot at this specific show, or we manage the social accounts of this show, so can you come do something for that? So yeah, it's an easy way to kind of work for a lot of different shows.
But then you're also the in-house photographer for some?
Yes. Right now I'm the in-house photographer for Sunset Boulevard, Buena Vista Social Club, and The Last 5 Years. And
hold up. Really?
Yeah.
Let me tell you, the girls I work with are going to go crazy.
About Last 5 Years?
Yeah. Okay. They love, and rightfully so, they love Nick Jonas.
Yeah.
Like, to the core. They are Nick Jonas. Me too.
No, I'm super excited.
Yeah, that's going to be so much fun.
I'm really pumped. And it's such an interesting show because, and I'll kind of explain like the in-house stuff here in a sec, but like, it's such an interesting show to be working on as a photographer because there are only 2 actors in the show. It's not like, you've got a 25-person ensemble. It's like, it's 2 people on stage. And so it kind of makes for a little bit different of a vibe, but I'm really excited. And,
it'd be cool.
Nick Jonas, come on.
I'll put some of the photos you've done here, but like the Sunset Boulevard photos you took were just so fucking cool.
That one,
this one,
that one, that one.
Yeah, those were so cool.
Thank you. That was really cool. And honestly, like, I don't like it's for me when I'm like getting to do these shoots. I feel like I'm in work mode, and so I'm just going, and like I don't really process what's happening until afterwards.
That's fair.
And then like I'll like see the photos get used somewhere cool, and I'm like, oh, like that was a big deal, like that was really cool. And like it just in the moment I'm just like I'm working, and so it feels like I'm kind of like disassociating almost like with what I'm doing while I'm doing it. But
that makes sense. I get that. It's so... I was talking to somebody about this. Oh, 1 second.
Nice.
I was talking to somebody about this, but especially if you're a creative in New York City, and I'm a fangirl to my heart, and I love to obsess, and I love to be a fangirl. But when you meet these people, especially if they possibly could be your coworkers one day, you do have to kind of like keep it together.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, honestly, for me, I came into New York, when I first moved to New York, I was not like a Broadway person per se. I knew what Broadway was. I had seen some Broadway shows, but like I was not like a Broadway fan person. I was shooting weddings for like 7 years before I moved to the city. And so I didn't come to the city with the intention of shooting Broadway stuff. It just kind of all happened. It kind of like really just fell into my lap a little bit, but so I also have a problem in the same line where I think some people have a problem where it's like, oh, I'm too big of a fan of this, and like it's hard to like focus or separate your fanness of this person versus like you're doing a job. Like I'm sometimes like I'll be taking photos of someone and I'm like, I don't know who this person is.
Oh, that's me.
And it's bad because I'm like, then I see the photos and I like look up this person. I'm like, oh, I should have known who this was. And so I think that's where it's a little bit different for me, is like I very much do separate, but then even if I do know who the person is and who it is, like you do have to remain professional. Like you are being paid to be there.
Right. You
are working typically like for the production or for, press team or something like that.
Yeah.
And so you got to remain professional. But I also like feel like like I said earlier, it's very much like I'm in the zone, and I feel like when I'm working, and it's hard to like separate that.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I just remember I have a good friend.
Uh-oh.
I have a good friend who loves Actually, I don't know if she loves him. She's infatuated with Daniel Radcliffe.
Okay.
So much so that she keeps like a picture of him from Harry Potter in her wallet. And
that's amazing.
And like growing up, she would, like, when she was a kid, she would have these dreams that Daniel Radcliffe as Harry Potter would come and like steal her imagination, and like he would like, you have to come with me, I need your imagination. She's like, no, I can't leave my family. He's like, no, you have. So she has
okay, I know who this is.
Yeah,
this is amazing.
She has this like I don't even know if she likes him, but she's like obsessed with him, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And
it's so funny. And I remember, I think I was dog sitting for you.
Yeah.
And at your old place, and I was dog sitting for you at your old place, and she came over.
Yeah. And
there was a picture or something of when you worked with Marilee. Or like, because you have those kind of
yeah,
those little picture frames. And she was like, oh, why do they have, she was like, what does Andy have a picture of Daniel Radcliffe? I was like, oh, like Andy took that picture. And she was like, what? And she had almost like this fangirl freak out. And you weren't there.
Yeah.
Neither was Daniel Radcliffe who was there, but she still, it was like, and so I one day just want to be in the room, and I want to be on fly on the wall just to watch her meet, Daniel Radcliffe or something like that.
Yeah.
I love this girl to death, and I think she's like the funniest person in the world, and I would just love to see that.
Well, it's so funny because like people have asked me before, like, okay, like who is the nicest person you've worked with, or like who's the meanest person you've worked with or for, or whatever. And like, I can say this like with 100% sincerity, like Daniel Radcliffe is like one of the nicest people that I've worked with.
Oh, really?
Like so I was the in-house photographer for Marilee when it was on Broadway, and from like day one of rehearsal, he like walked up and introduced himself, and wasn't just like, hi, what's your name?
Yeah.
He was like, hi, I'm Dan. And I'm like, yeah.
Who?
What? Remind me your name?
Yeah.
No, but he walked up, introduced himself, because it was a small room too.
Right.
There weren't many people there, but like he introduced himself, and then the next time that I was like at a rehearsal or something, he was like, oh, hey, it's great to see you again. And then it like
that's nice.
Kept like, as we worked through the show, as it was on Broadway, like he remembered who I was, and that like, it wasn't anything crazy. It wasn't like, how's your wife doing? Like how are, whatever. But it was always like an acknowledgement of, hey, I know who you are. It's good to see you. Hope you're doing well. And like, that's all it took, is like, because of the status that I think he has, and like how big of a celebrity he is, like internationally.
Yeah.
To be the kind of person who at this level, and with everything like going on in your life, and I think he had just had a kid at the time, and like all this stuff, like he didn't have to do that.
Yeah.
And he still would have been a nice person, but that just felt like he was going above and beyond. And like, not everybody does that. And so that's why I think, like, that's why I would say like he's probably like the nicest person that I've worked with.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I know I've talked to a few, like I have some friends who have been on Broadway, and they've achieved not like Daniel Radcliffe fame, but they've, especially in like the theater community.
Yeah.
They're very well known like on social media and like all this stuff. And they've told me it's very not difficult. They're just like, sometimes people forget I'm like just a person.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. I can definitely see that. But if you go backstage at any Broadway show, like it's just people hanging out. Like, I think there is also a lot of times for some people, like it's all like, everything's like shrouded in mystery, and like, what is it like, and like all these celebrities, and like, what is it? It's just people like talking and hanging out. Like they're just normal people, like everybody, like the biggest celebrity in the world, like
yeah.
not everybody.
Taylor Swift, she's just like us.
Yeah, definitely. When I'm on my private jet,
yeah.
Okay, I'll stop.
When I'm on my private jet on my way to see my Super Bowl boyfriend play in the 6th Super Bowl in a row. Speaking of that, Super Bowl Sunday is tomorrow.
It is.
I'm going to say my opinion.
Oh, I would love to hear your opinion.
I am not a Chiefs fan.
Okay. You're wearing a lot of red today.
I know. I'm not a Chiefs fan. I will be wearing tomorrow. I'm a Steelers fan.
Okay.
Tomorrow I will be wearing my Steelers shirt. When the Steelers beefed it, I was like, all right, here's the Detroit Lions. Then they beefed it.
Heartbreak.
And I said, all right, I guess we're rooting for the Buffalo Bills. And then they beefed it. And I said, well, we're left with the Birds.
So your sixth choice for who you wanted to be in the Super Bowl. Yeah.
And I'm grasping at straws, to support them. Not grasping at straws. Well, I know somebody who's a cheerleader for them.
Okay.
Like a friend of a friend acquaintance.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, well, there's one. And then I just finished watching It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. And I was
such a great show.
I was like, you know what? I like that show.
I mean, if that's all it takes to root against the Chiefs, like I'm in. Like, yeah. I don't like the Chiefs, not because, like, there's a lot of reasons that I think people don't like the Chiefs, and I think some of it is just that they are really good right now. Yeah. A lot of it's due to people saying, oh, it's the refs, and the refs are helping them and whatever. But I am a Cowboys fan, which is incredibly difficult.
Yeah, I can see that.
The last time that the Cowboys won a Super Bowl, I was 6 months old. And so it's just been a lifetime of heartbreak for me.
Yeah.
And then, with everything going on with our coaching staff, I just can't, I'm not going to get into it. But I also have to root for the Eagles, even though they are one of our rivals, just because maybe it's just me, but I just don't want to see them win a third in a row.
Yeah.
It's just, I'm
a hater.
I am too.
And it's not even I like Taylor Swift. It's nothing to do. It's really nothing to do with her. I just don't want the Chiefs to win.
Yeah. I like Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley. I think I really like those two guys, and I would love to watch them both get their first ring. Yeah, for sure. Totally. Yeah. But it tough to be a Cowboys fan.
Yeah, I can't imagine. Arkansas doesn't have a NFL team.
They don't have a professional sports team at all.
No, they don't.
No baseball, no basketball, nothing. Isn't that wild?
That is wild. Because I love. I'm not like a huge I know every fact about every sports fan, but I do like to watch sports. And I love to root for a team. And I do. I got my Razorback sweatshirt, but that's really it. We don't really have a team where we can.
That's sad. I feel like the closest team would be like the Memphis Grizzlies, right? Or like Titans, but they're in Nashville?
Yeah.
Man.
But for some reason, I don't know why, I've been a Steelers fan since I named my first dog Steeler when I was 10 years old.
That's cute.
So I guess I was a Steelers fan at 10. I was like, I'll keep with it.
That's so fair.
Very good. So yeah, this time, quit busting my ball. Andy's going to tell me 2 lies and 1 truth, and I'm going to guess the truth and see if I'm right.
Okay. 2 lies, 1 truth. You ready for this?
Yeah.
All right. I once dug up a mammoth skull with my uncle. I used to milk goats for a living. I once got a callback for an off-Broadway show after auditioning as a joke. I can repeat them at any time.
Okay. I don't know if I believe in mammoths.
Okay.
So I'm going to say...
You don't know if you believe in the existence of mammoths?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know why.
You don't know if they're real?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just because that just doesn't seem... I just don't know if I believe in mammoths or dinosaurs.
You don't know if you believe in dinosaurs?
Yeah. Okay. I do love dinosaurs.
Okay.
But if gun to my head, if someone was like, do you really think there was dinosaurs? I don't know.
Really?
I don't know.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
All right.
Sometimes I'm like, are they just feeding us lies in these history books? I mean, I'm sure they are.
Sorry. I don't mean to laugh. At that. It's just very funny.
All right. And then...
Okay.
I'm trying to remember. I feel like I've known you long enough to don't think you've milked goats. So I'm going to go with C that you got. But
I once got a callback for an off-Broadway show after auditioning as a joke. The answer is A. I once dug up a mammoth skull with my uncle.
What?
Yeah, so
Or what you think is a mammoth skull.
Right, what I think is a mammoth skull. So my uncle lives in Oklahoma, and he has all this property, like thousands of acres of property. And I can't remember how he ended up finding it, but it was one summer, probably 2009, 2010, maybe. One summer he was out on his property and he saw part of something bone that was sticking up out of the ground. It was some sort of culvert type thing, and it was kind of poking out. And he started digging it out a little bit more, and he realized it was a big skull.
Holy crap.
And so he called my mom. My dad had just passed away of cancer. Cancer.
Twins. Sorry. That was insensitive.
No, it's okay. So he had just passed away, and he was like, Andy could probably use a trip up to
totally.
Up to Oklahoma. Just come help me out with this thing.
That's really sweet.
I didn't really know what I was getting into, and I got there and I helped him dig it out, and it was a mammoth skull.
How big was it?
It was big, probably the size of the coffee table.
Okay.
And the tusks were not intact.
Okay.
But the two tusks were in a bunch of pieces. And so the skull was probably 75% there, but it was degraded and deteriorated and all this stuff. And so we brought it into his barn, and then he used this stuff that he basically painted on it with paintbrushes to preserve it.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the same thing they do in museums or not, but that's what he was doing. And then I got to take home some pieces of it, of the tusks and everything. And they're somewhere, probably in Texas somewhere. But yeah.
How did he know what to do? I'd be call the museum. I don't know.
He did. He called a couple museums around the area, and he called 3 colleges as well. I think he called Oklahoma State University, University of Oklahoma, and a couple others. And he said that no one wanted it because it wasn't in great condition. The museums that he called already had 1 or 2 mammoth skulls or full bodies or whatever, and he said they were in much better condition than his, and they were just keep it.
Hey, that's really fucking cool.
So I don't know, he might still have the rest of the skull in his garage or barn or something somewhere, but yeah. So yeah, I dug up a mammoth skull.
That's crazy.
I mean, if you want to believe that.
If you believe in that sort of thing, you dug up a mammoth skull.
I mean, you're you dug up an elephant skull. I don't know what you're talking about.
You dug up some propaganda. I don't know.
I mean, listen, when the wild elephants were roaming in Tulsa, Oklahoma, back in.
Also, how did the skull rise to the top? You know what I mean?
I'm not a what is that, geologist?
I know.
I'm not a geologist. I know nothing about that. I could pretend to know. I don't even know the layers of the earth, the names of the earth, the crust.
I don't even. Yeah. That's it. I got the core.
Stuffed crust. I don't know.
Stuffed crust. My favorite layer of the earth, the cheesy stuffed crust.
That's where all the mammoths are.
Yeah. Right. Just kind of chilling, being preserved in the little mozzarella cheese. Yeah. That's so funny. Man.
Well, I got you.
You did. Where'd you get milking goats from? You just
I used to work on a horse ranch, and so it was very close to that. So I would
milk horses.
Yeah, I used to milk horses. Yeah. That was my least favorite part of the day. least favorite part of the job was when I had to milk the horses. No, and then the off-Broadway show, I just thought that would be
that one was believable. Yeah, I was I
didn't want to say Broadway show because I'm not talented, and so I didn't want you'd be all right, that one's a lie. This guy can't act.
Well, yeah, I believe. I don't know. So they put some people on there.
Hey,
I've never seen you act though. I don't know.
Were you there when I was in?
Oh wait, no, I have seen you act,
but I didn't act.
I was a senior in high school, and I came and saw the show at my then college, and Andy was in it, and it was a Clue. It was an improv show, but it was based on Clue and the characters of Clue. And Andy, tell me about your role. So,
when I said I auditioned as a joke in my other lie, that's kind of what I did for this show. This, like you said, it was a Clue style improv show. It was entirely improv. Every night the actors were given prompts, but most of it, like 90% of it, was improv. And so it was different every single night. I auditioned because my now wife was auditioning and I didn't have anything to do that evening and was not very good at all, but was called back for the role of a dead body. So every single show, I would get in makeup, I would put on a suit, and I would lay in a casket on stage for like 50% of the show. I was in this casket.
Open casket, right?
Open casket. Yeah. And there's something crazy about this that I'll tell you in a second, but basically everyone made it their mission to try to get me to break. So there was an actress who one night was chewing gum and took the gum out of her mouth and put it in my mouth as like I need to get rid of this gum. Let me just put it here. Put it in my mouth. Someone else poured like a vase of water on my face, and the water went like in my nose, and it was taking everything in me not to just start coughing. People would obviously make a lot of jokes and try to get me to laugh and things like that, but it was very, very difficult not to laugh or move.
Hey, I thought you did good. I had no idea you were like a person. I thought it was a prop.
Was that the first time you'd ever seen me?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think I even realized it was you until like later, like way years later.
That's so funny.
But I really was like, you had the shock factor. I was shocked because I was like, oh, that was a guy this whole time.
It was me in
you were so still.
Makeup that I did myself.
That's more than I can do. I can't do makeup.
Well, listen, here's the crazy thing about that. You saw me in this casket, this open casket. What you might not have realized was that they rented that from a funeral home. That was not a prop. That was a real used casket. Used.
How do you get a used casket?
Well, if people are getting cremated, they're still going to have a visitation.
Oh.
So they lay in it for the visitation, then they take them and cremate them.
And they just reuse the casket.
It smelled like vinegar. It was horrid. It was a used casket, and I'm sure after we gave it back to them, back to the Hot Springs Funeral Home, they kept using it. So yeah, it was used.
I am kind of speechless about that.
But it was real, so it was a great prop.
It's
it looked
authentic.
fantastic on stage.
It did.
Because it was real and people had been in it.
Dead people had been in that. That would have creeped me out.
Yeah. I was just happy to be in the show.
All right, well, on that, I think that's about it.
Yeah, that's the end of this therapy session.
Ending.
Yeah.
Andy, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me. This was so much fun.
Yeah,
I'll have to come back on at some point.
Yeah, man. Share, where you're at online.
Like, follow, share.
Subscribe.
I'm at Andy Henderson on Instagram, and that's all that really matters. I'm not on X. And don't follow me on TikTok, please. Whatever you do.
Yeah, but go check out Andy's got some incredible work on his Instagram of his photography, so go check that out.
Thank you. And I also have 2 reels.
I watched the Outsiders one.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. And thanks again. This was so much fun.
Of course.
Can't wait to be back.
Yeah. Can't wait to have you back on. All right. All right. Bye, y'all.
Consider that ball busted.
Consider that ball busted.